Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 2 of CollegiateR6 Season 6. As always, my name is Jays Wills, and joining me on the desk tonight is my wonderful co-caster Barrett, and we are here not only to debut this beautiful new stream package courtesy of our good friend Tango Mango Down, but we're also here to guide you through what should hopefully be a pretty interesting matchup between Maryville University Black and Trine University. Barrett, it's been quite a few weeks since we've casted together. I'm super excited for it. How are you feeling?
I am feeling good. I am definitely glad to be back in the caster position. You're right. Props to Tango for creating this wonderful graphic package here. The setup is phenomenal. Of course, adding production value to anything makes the professionalism at top notch for CR6. And I'm excited tonight too. I'm ready to be back in the seat, commenting on two teams. I'm just ready for a wonderful night of CR6.
Yeah, I'm hoping this open league matchup is going to be quite interesting. Personally, I'm actually not too familiar with either of these teams. I've casted Maryville University Red, another team that they field in the variety of collegiate leagues that we have in front of us, but they aren't here in Collegiate R6 this season. Maryville's only team is going to be Maryville University Black, and I'm curious to see how these players perform. I've seen the red team perform, and they are quite a strong team to be reckoned with. Just last season, their Maryville counterparts took a really strong fight against UT Dallas, one of the really upper echelon teams here in the collegiate siege world. On the side of Trine University, I have no idea what to expect from them. I do know that both of these teams, however, are coming off pretty strong victories in week 1. Of course, this is a Swiss system, so we're going to have these teams who play against each other who get those early wins. They're going to go head to head. You're going to match up those 1-0 teams with those 1-0 teams, and that means only one of these two teams doing battle tonight are going to be able to remain undefeated going into week 3.
And that's the beauty of the Swiss system. Like you mentioned, Jay-Z, I mean, we get to see iron sharpens iron. Like you said, I don't know anything about these two teams. You have at least a little experience with Maryville. The only connection I have with Trine is I played in college football against Trine. That's the only connection I have against him.
There you go.
No esports whatsoever. So we'll take that, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited tonight. We're gonna see one-on-one, both undefeated teams in this early part of the season. But we're going to see. I have to imagine both teams are still feeling out positions and strategies to see how they can get to victory. But I'm excited tonight, and it seems like we are just around the corner between these two.
Well, in terms of the overall rosters, again, we're not too familiar with these teams. The names that we're looking at here, I'm not super familiar with. I am excited to cast Vintage and Insomnia. Those seem to be two pretty competent players. Those are on the side of Maryville and Trine. That roster is fielding Squirrely, Biomark, Savaged Mars, Millennium Pigeon, and Check. So, a lot of fun names, and it's always interesting to take a look at those names because we're going to be yelling those all night long. So, you better get used to hearing us say Blessed Devo, Tortoise, Voidly, and those other players from Maryville. So, we're going to get into it pretty soon. We're going to be starting things off, hopefully, on an interesting map. Let's actually take a look at our map bands and see where we're going to be doing battle. We can see Villa is going to be the first pick from Maryville. Clubhouse, our second map, courtesy of Trine, leaving Oregon as that decider map.
And I'm excited for both these maps. I mean, of course, we don't get to see. I mean, these are maps that we see quite a bit all the time. I think we see Villa also quite a bit. I mean, I think every time I think I've casted with you, JC, we have a clubhouse in the mix picked by either team. So I'm excited tonight. Of course, both maps kind of rely on strategy, also gunplay at times, but I think clubhouse is more of a strat heavy map. So it's going to be interesting to see at least early parts of the match and in the season for these two teams, how they're going to perfect their strats and execute them against one another.
Yeah, those first two bans we saw, Coastline and Cafe, being taken off the table, like you said, those are not those strat heavy maps. Those are more of the frag heavy, just absolute gun fest of a map compared to Villa and Clubhouse. Those two maps that we are guaranteed to see in this best of 3 series, those are a bit more what we would call strat forward. Of course, your gun skill is always going to shine, but at the end of the day, you need a pretty composed strat. You have to have at least a very good defensive setup to counter increasingly aggressive attacks and an attacking side that has generally received or started to get increasing success over the last few weeks as the shift in the meta is slowly coming to fruition. Of course, with the Pro League and the Challenger League in the offseason, we haven't really been able to see how the best teams in the Siege world perform under this new meta all that much. It really was the last season we saw them really dive deep into that utility consumption simulator world. But on Villa and on Clubhouse, two maps that generally are super utility focused, I'm interested to see how both Open League teams are going to adapt to this more aggressive style of attack, more quicker attacks that we're seeing allowed to happen here. And starting things off on Villa on a map that is so roam heavy, that is really the opportunity for flashy defensive plays are there. Attacking teams have to be so coordinated and so put together really at the onset.
Yeah, especially, we talked about Villa. I mean, I think we're gonna be starting out here on Clubhouse, but Villa is a map where you can basically have a defending roamer come out of nowhere. Adhering to flanks is a big thing on any map, really. And we're not going to see it probably too much here on Clubhouse as we're kind of boxed in on certain sites, especially we're probably going to be heading to CCTV and Cash to start out the night for us on round one. But I think you have to just be wary of that, especially when we get into the second round here, or I'm sorry, the second map when we get into Villa. But I'm excited right now as our bans are underway right now, bringing out the Thatcher, of course. No shock there. Maryville's going to take down Thatcher out of rotation. Perfectly normal, especially a operator who can destroy any wall denial or at least a turret for the moment where you're able to get walls, which is a big factor, especially here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, Clubhouse is one of those maps. I mean, pretty much every map in Siege lends itself to that Thatcher ban. The Ace ban as well, another so typical ban of this real meta that we're in. Those ranged hard breachers like the Ace and like the Hibana can be so powerful when utilized properly on attack. So it really is no surprise to see both of these teams really just not wanting to deal with the Thatcher, not wanting to deal with those Selma charges, nor are they going to elect to deal with those Melusi Banshees, the Wub-Wubs as they're better known, just perfect gadgets on defense to slow down attackers, force them to waste time, waste utility to deal with that oppressive gadget, and something that, again, we see time and time again on a map like Clubhouse. Our final ban is going to come out. It will be that Mira. Again, no surprise, pretty stock standard bans here. Those Mira windows, they suppress attacking teams. They lock off certain areas. So good for information as well. None of that is going to be a factor. The information game is going to have to be more revolving around the Valkyrie or the Maestro, two operators that are also very commonly banned on this map, but both will have their opportunity to shine very early on.
And it looks like I'm actually going to be wrong here, as it seems like Maryville is going to opt to go down to Church and Arsenal room. So kind of throwing a curveball early. Of course, many teams elect to go up top to Cash and CCTV just because it's, I think, an easier site to defend, especially if you know what you're doing. But right now, I think trying to get out here, trying to get a curveball, get an early round, set the pace for what you want to do. And I think you're going to be okay if you're, whoever wins these first couple rounds, you're going to feel, okay, we have our strats perfected, or at least to the extent we're able to get an early lead here, and we're feeling comfortable. Right now, we're going to start in Church and Arsenal as we see the setup here from Maryville, and they're going to attempt to at least stop the fast pace attack right now of Trine early, as we see a lot of runners here in the front part of this roster for Trine.
Yeah, taking a look at these lineups, we do have Check bringing out the Buck as well as the secondary hard breach gadget to add to the hard breach utility that Squirrely is bringing, that Surrey Torch that the Maverick wields. So interestingly enough, we're not seeing Hibana at all, which is probably the most important operator to bring on this basement attack. You've got so many hatches to deal with, so many crossfires you're looking to establish, and with the very limited hard breach we're seeing come out from this attack, I'm a little concerned right at the onset of how well Trine are going to be able to approach this bomb site and really get that early traction going. Early on, though, only within 20 seconds into the round, we are seeing Trine get quite aggressive. They're opening this stock hatch right away. Using that opportunity, though, no reinforcement is going to be placed there. So at least in one of those hatches, the Hibana is not going to be missed at all. Just a simple breaching charge will do. And now with the drone work going on through, they're going to slowly identify where these defenders are positioned. Voidly is going to run right below the stock hatch, but Savage Mars was not quite there to capitalize, so the Valkyrie will remain up on the board for the time being.
Yeah, and I think an important thing, though you don't get the the Hibana, excuse me, you get Buck, who is able to open up that kitchen floor, which is able to give you vertical control. I think that is the only saving grace you have right now, as we see Check with the Buck, the shotgun. It's going to be narrowly missed as Voidly is going to exchange some fire. It seems like he could have taken out Check with the ankles, shot to the ankles, excuse me. So right now, already getting the job done, getting vertical control with that shotgun secondary gadget that he has on his gun. We're going to see Swirly here trying to apply pressure. Savage Mars is going to be taking some shots here on the main stairs from the defenders below. But right now, you have to be going here. 1:25 left. Applying some kind of pressure here, but not enough to the extent to waver any concern if you're on the defending side. Drone work is still going out, and H2O Insomnia is going to go down here. Millennium Pigeon is going to take him down. So the first blood is shed in here, our contest tonight. Of course, right now you can't be too concerned just yet. It doesn't seem like any pressure is wielded off. With a minute left, Trine is going to have to get in here.
Yeah, Millennium Pigeon going for another challenge, this time on to Voidly, the Valkyrie again, flirting with death, but escaping that grisly fate. Check will not, however, as Blessed Devo is on the swing into Moto and finding another kill. Voidly, the MPX doing its job well. Goodbye to Biomark, the Ash, who is trying to push on downstairs. Millennium Pigeon, though, that's a double kill, pushing on in through Moto. Will net the Nomad the second kill of the round for Trine. This attack is slowly unfolding, but now their intentions are quite clear. This is a very one-directional attack. The bottom of main stairs send by Savage Mars. Squirrely and Millennium Pigeon bunched up outside this church wall. Squirrely is trying to Maverick trick this open, but without much time to do so, this attack, it's not looking too good. It's going to be a fatal funnel send for all three attackers. Maryville is there to capitalize on that. The defensive side takes a clean round number one on the basement bomb site.
And I think where the attack fell apart, as you mentioned it right at the start, when they started opening up church wall, is the attack became very one-sided, very linear. You were unable to get pressure from both sides here. I think Voidly did an excellent job, though lost health in multiple engagements, was able to slow down the attack, take a few bodies, or at least one with you, and you're able to slow down the attack in an event where time is now on your side, and all you have to do is wait out, and attackers become predictable at any moment. But right now, if you can't be too upset, I think now we're going to see Trine opting to bring the Hibana, which I think is a great selection here. As I say that, they're going to 6-pick to the Ash, so I'm going to eat my words once again. Curious decision. I know they are going to have to go upstairs now, so I guess that's why they're switching out of it. I have to imagine if the defense lost that round, they would have opted to go to Hibana because of the hatches and the vertical control. But now we're going to be in Cash and CCTV, a classic site who I predicted to be the first one, but I was wrong, so I'm okay with that. But now we're going to see how the wall, how the exterior wall is going to be taken by this Trine attack.
Well, the one thing I will highlight again from that previous round, obviously the lack of Hibana was one thing, but one thing we actually haven't talked about yet is the Thatcher ban on the board, but the ability of the Kaid to still be played. We did not see the very typical Electroclaw operator ban. The Kaid is on the table, and as a result, those hatches were just so much more of a pain to actually get open. Of course, you do have a Maverick, right? And his pretty much sole purpose in any map is dealing with those reinforced walls, even when they have some hard breach denial on them. But when it comes to that basement bomb site, and there are those Electroclaws in play, one player, one hard breacher, and Maverick, it just takes a lot of time and just a lot of that Surrey Torch utility to actually get those hatches open. We're seeing the Maverick make extremely quick work of this CCTV wall. Shout out to probably the most talented Maverick player in the game, Juan Deswan. Of course, he's not in the lobby, but Squirrely may be giving Juan a run for his money. So within 20, 30 seconds, the wall is going to be open wide. That's going to establish the line of sight onto the CCTU bomb site. But the one thing that now Trine have to decide is where they want to approach as their crossfire onto this bomb site. Getting this wall open is simply not enough. You have a couple options now if you're Trine. You can go for a Raptors push, trying to establish control of Garage by just flash dumping that player. In this case, it's Insomnia holding that down. Of course, your second option is you can, work your way around on a possible cash attack and work your way in from that construction side. For now, though, it does seem that the Garage pressure is mounting. Insomnia is actually here to assist Voidly, who is the player holding Raptors itself, and that's already giving Trine pretty hard time to get this one open.
Yeah, and it seems like they are going to have to switch up their attack because it seems like they're just going to be bottlenecked in from this Garage. Voidly, who did such a good job last round, stalling and taking down at least an attacker or an event to stall time, is at it again as we're going to see Squirrely making the pressure here. Insomnia is going to take down Bio. Mark. Check's going to respond with Voidly. So Voidly off the table. Insomnia gets one. Check's going to shut him down. 3v3 here. Minute left on the clock. It does seem like the Trine attack is working. Squirrely's going to take down Tortoise on red stairs. Vintage left all by himself at the moment. Bless Devo is coming in with reinforcements. Vintage says, I don't need Devo, though. He's going to take one down. It's going to be 1v2. Millennium Pigeon is going to take down Vintage. 40 seconds left. The Fuser is going to be going down, placing some pressure on Blessed Devo. He's going to have to make a swing here. He does pre-fire it. 1v1 now. Check left in Rafters. Devo knows where he's at. Taking a very wide approach. Is he going to repel up? Is he going to make it in time is my question. Bails out. Devo says, I don't care. He's going to take care of it. That was looking very good for Trine at the moment. But Maryville scraping away here, gets round two. An excellent job. It seems like timing was a key factor there for that Maryville defense.
Yeah, Devo there just, oh man, that one came close. He had his crosshair placed just closely enough to the exact position that Check was repelling, and well played there by the Kaid, escaping, like you said, by the skin of their teeth. He only had about 5 HP left to his name by the end of that one. But regardless, Maryville taking 2 defensive rounds in a row. They haven't been the cleanest of rounds, but they've got the job done. The big story of that round, of course, it was Trine. Their early pressure on the breach was pretty tremendous. The one thing that they couldn't quite get down, though, was the pressure from elsewhere. Of course, Raptors' control was eventually sacrificed, but it wasn't quite enough, and at least it wasn't quite fast enough to allow them to get that plant down, I guess, without being traded out by the defenders, swinging them from every which way. The one big issue that nearly cost Devo the round was his lack of C4. Of course, you usually have that C4 in that last moment where you can toss it over the shelf there and probably deny that plant or even go below, as Devo was in a position to go down the main stairs possibly and get that C4 up to the default spot. But if we all noticed, he used his C4 very early in the round, right away onto what looked like it was going to be the Maverick opening up that wall, but at that point, the Maverick trick was already completed. The C4 never got actually tossed through the Maverick holes or through the breach. It was just on the soft wall. Nobody was there to feel the brunt of that impact, so essentially a wasted C4, nearly costing Devo the round, but some pretty strong play will give the Kaid his 3rd kill and give Maryville their 2nd round. So strong stuff from them so far.
Yeah, and we mentioned, as we're going to see a premature impact there, a little piece of Devo. So, we talked about the Kaid coming out here. Why I think we have to see maybe if Trine is going to switch to a Twitch here in an attempt to maybe deter the Kaid claws, because it doesn't seem, or Kaid claws, because it doesn't seem like the claws have been placed in any spot that's particularly finicky or tricky to get to. It seems like it's directly right on the exterior wall. So it'll be interesting to see if they switch to that in an attempt to deter this wall denial, as we see Devo just sitting there right behind safe and sound. So the attack seems to be coming from CCTV, which is pretty normal. Many teams extend out. Maryville copying a lot of many other teams, or just taking their own strategy on it, which is very good, because right now, as we've seen, there's already a minute taken off the clock. So 3-man extension, it seems like, out into cash. So great job by them. At least you're able to deter the opponent for now. But I think right now the main job is you're going to see Swirly doing what he does best, is opening up this wall with the torch here in an attempt to access this Claw. It doesn't seem like he's got a piece of it yet, so it is still electrified, but it is soft, fortunately, for this Trine attack.
Yeah, the first time we're seeing this sledge come out, and that shift has worked out pretty well so far for Czech. Of course, the frag grenades really make Sledge so impactful. Just such a key operator to bring, and a reason that Buck has fallen out of the meta recently, because his lack of frag grenades, only flashes instead, really just make that soft breach utility just favor to bring out the sledge and the breaching hammer instead. Swirly is going to open things off for this round, taking down Voidly and now Tortoise. Now a triple kill. Walking up the main stairs, I have no idea where the call out was. His position should have been known after the first, or at the very least after the second kill. Regardless, Devo couldn't make it happen. Vintage, though, a quick response, answered right back by Swirly, now on a quad kill, on a hunt for the ace. The swing from the Jaeger is there, Insomnia gets one, but Swirly rounds the corner and secures the ace. Trine, after 2 unsuccessful attacking rounds on the back of Swirly, they will take this tertiary bomb site with ease.
Well, we said they needed a round, and, you know, great players make great plays, so Swirly coming out here with an ace. You know, momentum killer, you're right. Lack of communication was ultimately the downfall for the Maryville defense. I have no idea how you allow a player to walk up and kill 3 people just out of the blue like that. So excellent job, though, by Swirly, basically becoming an attack maverick. So excellent job by him. Kudos to him. I'm sure that'll be a clip that he will want to save for that. But 2-1 now. Still in favor of Maryville, but you have to imagine the momentum is kind of at least evened out here, or at least they can get that one on the board where you can build off of it. You know, of course, it was on the tertiary bomb site, gym and bedroom, and I have to imagine now they're going to be going with the Ibana. We see that now. And sticking with the sledge, instead of Czech, it's going to be Savaged Mars. So changing up their attack, at least on this bomb site, for another cycle, a second time around, excuse me.
Yeah, seeing this one come out, I like the change, bringing out the Habana. That's pretty big, but now you're doubling up on soft destruction. Both the Sledge and the Buck. There's no Zofia and there's no Ash. Your really powerful impact grenades, your ranged soft destruction, as it were. Of course, the Buck has a little bit of that, but the utility that both the Zofia and the Ash bring cannot be overshadowed enough. Of course, Buck is good to bring, but I think it would definitely be better to bring something like that Ash or that Zofia, because you still have ample soft destruction ability. Of course, you're losing out on the secondary hard breach gadget, but now with the addition of the Habana and the Maverick, it's not really a hard breach gadget that is really required right now. But before we go on into round number 4, I do really think that we've seen 3 incredible rounds so far, with 3 very closely contested rounds at that. The only difference, and the first real mistake that we've seen from both of these teams, was the lack of communication on Swirly's push up the main stairs. Devo, who was busy challenging onto that jacuzzi wall breach, seemingly had no idea that the Maverick was working his way up behind him, and as a result, he was the 3rd defensive player to fall to the very same angle. Bit of an unfortunate circumstance there, something that I'm confident Maryville will be looking to correct going forward. Of course, it's the basement bomb site, one that you wouldn't think they had to correct much. They won it pretty solidly last time, really just playing out the clock, playing things out pretty well. The same thing cannot be said for this round, though, as Insomnia is going to get a bit over-aggressive, and Biomark is going to punish him for that.
Yeah, and it seems like Trine is opposed to being very fast-paced they were the first time around on this site, is taking their time. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're able to at least establish consistent pressure. As we see, no player has really made an attempt to go out here. Clearing the roam is a big part here, as we're going to see Voidly, I think, either attempt to go back into sight or at least pick off someone if he rotates through secrets. We're going to see Millennium Pigeon take some bullets. Not going to die, though, so very, very fortunate for Millennium Pigeon to walk away with his life, as Voidly's going to rotate back to base there. So as we see, the roam clear wasn't completely done, but they did a good enough job to where they were able to, you know, keep away with their lives here. And as this Trine attack bolsters on, you see vertical pressure coming through here. and Czech doing his thing as well. But right now, I mean, a minute left here. You're still taking it slow. You kind of have to go if you are trying.
Of course, this site is one that has seen, historically, this has been probably the most iconic site of the 20-second meta, really waiting for literally the last 10-15 seconds to get that push going. But this time, it's just more of a methodical clear for Trine. We just saw the second pick roll on out Voidly, having missed that kill on a Millennium Pigeon earlier, is now going to be cut out of round number 4 completely. That's leaving 3 defenders, all that remains on this bomb site. But with a slightly disjointed push coming out here from Trine, and one that is in fact waiting until the last moment, this could go wrong for them very quickly. Tortoise on the prone angle with the M590 in hand. He's going to pop right on up and cut down the Nomad. Czech will also hit the floor thanks to Vintage. Squirrely, of course, finding the trade right on back, but so will Devo, removing Savage Mars. The plant is going down. Devo has a C4 in hand, but it's just a little bit off the mark. Regardless, it will detonate, but not quite. The plant goes down, but Biomark can do nothing about it. Devo and Tortoise playing that swing quite well. Devo being credited with that team coordination kill in the last few moments, and Maryville will take round number 4, their second successful basement defense.
Yeah, and Devo keeping that C4 in pocket, though did not get the kill, was enough to get at least get some damage on, where he was able to allow his teammate to get the kill there. So excellent job. A slower attack. I think if you're both sides, I think every round so far has been very close. Contested. It hasn't been like a complete wipeout. I know we saw the ace, but I mean, other than that, I think all these rounds so far have been very tightly contested, and we like to see that. I think you're still gonna have to figure out that attack if you are trying. Of course, you don't have to go back to it right now, but I think right now for future purposes, you want to go back. But right now, we're gonna see them going back to cache and CCTV for a second time through. And right now, we're going to see adjustments ourselves, as we're not going to see a warden this time, but we're going to see an echo. So right now, I think adjustments are going to be made on the defensive side. As for the attacking roster, it's going to be, I believe, identical to what it was the first time around. So they have a plan. They're sticking to it. I'd like to see the Twitch come out here to at least get rid of that Electro Claw, but you can get through it different ways. You have the Maverick, just trying to make your life easier. Of course, you can sacrifice a gun, but you do you, Trine. You do you. So, I mean, is what it is. So, on here, Cash and CCTV, we'll have to see how far they can get, as long as they can apply pressure, trying that is through the garage or at least red stairs. Last time we saw them run into opening up the breach through the CCTV wall, but they were unable to really get into it at all because they ran into basically defenders at all angles, and Devo got the clutch. So we'll see if that happens again, but right now I think you're going to want to try to establish different angles of pressure if you are trying.
The one thing I wonder, if it were to shake out differently for Trine, like the buck pick, I'm not quite sold on that yet. Of course, when you do bring a buck pick out, it usually indicates that you're going to play a lot of vertical. You're going to really utilize the map to its fullest. Maybe in this case, playing below cache, really just absolutely destroying the ceiling of stock, just ripping it apart and establishing those lines of sight onto the cache bomb site. You compound that with some pressure from construction side, and all of a sudden you've got cache pretty much for free. But what we're seeing here is, so far, not quite that strategy. And I wonder what this would shake out like if Czech was running the Capital instead. In my opinion, one of the most undervalued operators in Siege is that Capital. And on this bomb site specifically, this map as a whole, really, Capital shines far and above an operator like a Buck. You bring a secondary hard breach as well, but instead of some range soft destruction, which is mildly useful at most here, you bring firebolts and smokes. A firebolt is the perfect recipe to force out a Rafters player, especially when there is no Wamai on the board. We're not seeing that pick come out from Maryville, probably because they're not seeing a Capital, but imagine how quickly Rafters control could be taken if try and pull out that Capital. I'm wondering if we're going to see that adaptation going forward, but of course, if they can't manage to secure this round here, we're not going to see CCTV and cache again. while Trine makes the attack happen. We hit that minute mark. It's time to start really bearing down on this bomb site for Trine, but with 3 toxic canisters in hand, Tortoise is doing his best to stall this out. All 10 operators all remain in this lobby, just waiting to stall out this attacking push.
And yeah, we're going to see Trine. It's all about map control. Voidly is going to be ran up here. It seems like a party in rafters right now, as Check's going to take care of Voidly. So right now, as we see the pressure coming through as they're able to get the breach open. Similarly, before last time we were here on this map, Tortoise is going to go down on red stairs. He's down but not out. H2 Insomnia is going to take some bullets. The Echo Drone is there, deterring the plant. Savage Mars going to finish off Insomnia. Check. He's going to take down Devo. 2v5 here was just 5v5 moments ago. Now put down. Vintage shaking off as he should have thought he could have hit those shots there. He is left in the same position he was last time. He is basically all by himself right now, and that is not going to happen. A flawless round by this Trine attack. A good way to finish out your second attack on CCTV. Excellent team coordination and a party in rafters, JZ.
Yeah. I mean, they just walked up the stairs and nobody was there to stop him. On the defensive side, I think this was another situation where a mistake really characterized the round for Maryville. At the very last moment, when we saw it was like that 1v4, what I noticed, and what is something that you rarely see, is the wall between cache and CCTV almost completely untouched. Normally, that wall is very destroyed by a M590 soft destruction utilized on the defensive side. You want to establish 2 holes there. You don't want to rotate necessarily. You want 2 holes a little bit above head height, both so you can utilize those smoke grenades and throw them over the wall if you're playing back in cache, but more importantly, so you can look at the rafter stairs from an elevated position on the green box. If somebody hops up on that box, you have a line of sight directly to rafter stairs, and you can call out to your rafters player what they're dealing with, if they should have their gun up, or in this case, have their camera out instead, and not really be focused on that full rafters send. The reason that a rafters push like that, what we saw from Trine, doesn't usually get rewarded is because a player there on the rafters position has a deployable shield to assist them, and they can just gun down those raftered players because they know that they're coming. The call out has been made from the player on that green box in CC, or in cache rather. No such call was there, and as a result, Maryville were caught a little bit off guard, and things didn't work out too hot. Of course, the Wamai is coming on the table now, so a little bit of an adaptation, and maybe we're going to see Tortoise put a couple of... Yes, okay, so Tortoise is going to at least put a couple of holes in this CC to cache wall, but not enough to give me confidence that a player is going to be watching that rafters send. Again, a couple of mistakes here coming out from Maryville, and they will pay the price in round number 5. This time, Trine, with that success in mind, they're going to change things up a little bit, bringing out the Capital, like I highlighted earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say, you called it here. A Wamai and a Capital is coming out here. So we're going to see Voidly keep throwing out, well, an impact, put him down to 50 health. Well, maybe that was a mistake. Actually, I know that's a mistake. So interesting thing there. Must have been a misinput. Of course, 2 minutes left here, but you know, you have the counter to Capital, but at the same time, I think if you were able to get rid of the Wamai pancakes, you're able to at least get some success, and the player is off of rafters. But right now, that does not seem to be the case, as Voidly seems to be staying off of cams and more holding onto his gun. So communication is out here. You did make the mistake, or you did mention the mistake, at least in the setup where Maryville is unable to get the line of sight established. But right now, Swirly showing how good he is as a Maverick, getting this wall open for his teammates. Minute 35 left here. No one has died. Damage has been taken, and Voidly is going to go down. Doesn't matter. The Capital doing his job here. So excellent job by him as he's able to get out here. Biomark skillfully shot. Devo's going to fall down to Savage Mars. 3v5 here. Trine attack is looking to get better and better each time we go around, as Savage Mars and Insomnia are going to exchange bullets, but Savage Mars is going to win that fight, and it's going to be a 2v5 now. Check. Going to be getting down the plant, but of course the Echo Drone is there, the Yokai, in order to prevent the attack. Misfire was going to get the... unable to get the diffuser down. It just seems like every time he knows where he's at, shoot you the soft wall, but as we've seen this all before, Vintage is by himself, and he is not going to be able to do it again. Trine is going to get round 6, and it is tied up 3-3. So very even matched right now, and I'm very excited with what has happened here right now.
Yeah, pretty strong attack there from Trine. The difference between these last 2 rounds, though, is the previous one, maybe you could chalk it up to a Maryville mistake. This one, Trine just executed that perfectly. The Capitao was brought out, the exact scenario which I envisioned and discussed in the previous round played out in front of our eyes. Personally, I love to see that happen. The Capitao utilized perfectly. The fire bolts doing their job. You call them asphyxiating bolts. They're landing on the head of the Wamai, forcing him out or forcing him to take a gunfight and end up dying. He really couldn't do much when he was caught in the fire and the flames, and the Wamai found his grave. So a nice job there from Trine, making use of the most underrated operator in Siege and utilizing him quite well. We are going to see the Capitao come out on the attacking side from Maryville as well, so that's good to see. But overall, what we've seen here from the first half, a 3-3 split, I think that favors Trine right now. Their attack proving that it was quite formidable. Now going on to the defensive side, generally this is more of that defensive-sided map, so they could have an edge here, but based on what we've seen so far, I would not be surprised if this one goes the distance and if Maryville can come up with some strong attacks on their own as well.
Yeah, it seems like both teams have had their miscues, and both teams have risen to the occasion of playing against another CollegiateR6 team, which you're able to make plays. One team makes plays, one team doesn't make plays. It's just a balance of Rainbow Six life, if you will. Of course, we're going to see the adjustments that you've already mentioned, or you highlighted the last couple rounds, the Capitao and the Wamai coming out here. I have to imagine the placement of the magnet gadgets are going to be a little bit better placed from Millennium Pigeon's sake, as he saw what he did to the Voidly, who was on basically the other inverse of what happened there, sitting up on rafters. So right now, Savage Mars, though, excellent C4 placement, is going to get rid of the Ash. Great gun off the board there, starting off the round very hot here. So I don't know if it was a random place or if he was just lurking out, but nevertheless, excellent pick right at the start by this Trine defense.
Yeah, nice C4 toss there from Savage Mars, just lobbing that one up towards the secret window, and, well, sending Insomnia to the early grave. So, nice job there from the Mozzie, and that's going to put Maryville on the back foot right away. Of course, you've got Tortoise and Blessed Devo who are trying to play off each other and search for that refrag. In the meantime, Voidly is going to find himself isolated from his team, kind of individually attempting to force out Millennium Pigeon on that Raptors angle, and that's simply not going to be possible. The lack of coordination there is what's going to make Maryville pay so far. Now down to only 3 operators, and they're quite nervous of a possible flank here. The roam on this bomb site isn't usually an issue. It tends to be a lot more focused on the bomb site itself, but right now, things are very going wrong for Maryville, with Check finding another pick with the MP7, his 6th kill of the map. Ooh, and a good shot there from Millennium Pigeon. That's going to leave Vintage alone in a 1v5. Very little hope for him to bring this one back.
Yeah, and, you sacrifice the Nomad for the Capitao, and of course, maybe we're going to see, 1v5. Yep, I think we're going to see it. They're going to go sit and talk about what just happened. They have a minute left to transpire and talk about what happened. I think we've seen many teams do this throughout the entire time, at least I've been casting. We saw this in the playoffs last season, where Oklahoma State did that as well, where they were able to gather themselves and wait here. So I think this is a smart job. But just to recap that first round, I mean, I think we just saw, obviously we saw the first pick initially by Savage Mars, but I think communication-wise, Trine seemed to be put together here on this CC and Cash site. But I think you can't be too upset. I think an early pick really deterred your chances early if you're Maryville.
Yeah, that was a list of problems there for Maryville. Obviously, it started out pretty poorly with the C4 toss from Savage Mars, but at the end of the day, you can recover from that situation. You've lost your Ash, that's a lot of utility gone, and most likely a pretty big fragger off the board, but it's a 4v5. You've got all the utility you need. You've got the Zofia to provide that soft destruction. You've got the Hard Breacher still on the board. You've got the Capitao. Everything is pretty much okay, except when you allow that to get in your head and you allow your team to become a little bit disjointed. One example of that was the Capitao on the lone push. That was Voidly, I believe, on the lone push in Rafters, obviously understanding that Capitao needs to force out the Raptors player. That is Capitao's job. However, playing it alone is never the answer. You're going to want someone there to, at the very least, cover you from a swing just like we witnessed. It was perfectly played by Savage Mars, or I believe that was Insomnia, rather, who was playing that angle. No, excuse me. I'm not entirely sure. Possibly Biomart. It was the Wamai. Regardless. I got my teams mixed up here, but it was a strong play from the Wamai. It was a nice swing out. Nobody was there on the coverage, and perfectly played. I wonder if the cam was still up, if there was information being provided to the Wamai to say, hey, nobody else is here. You can actually go for this swing. Nevertheless, nice play there from the Wamai, and something that Maryville just could not recover from. A couple of mistakes compounded and just really made it tough to proceed in that round. Trine making that defense look pretty easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think now we're going to see a little bit of surprise, at least in my liking, to where they're not going to be going downstairs right away. So weird how Voidly picked they must have been doing their homework on each other, because Voidly, obviously started out with the Nook, 6 picks to the Cali. Of course, that would kind of work in basement if you were going dirt, but right now I think you're fortunate if you are Maryville to have the Cali at least able to shoot into gym and bedroom. Interesting to me. I wouldn't, at least that's not what I would do, is I would go downstairs at least fortify, especially since you had such a great defense on Cash and CCTV. But nevertheless, the extension is going to be out into Cash itself, so we're going to see how Trine deals with this Cali that's going to be outside. So hopefully, the plan for the castle, it wasn't even 6 picked. So, excellent job at least knowing what this team does, or maybe this is just random luck as they're going to attempt to get open the wall with the Cali Lance.
The Cali's a good pick for either site. I mean, if you bring out the Electro Claws and you want to get the Moto hatch open and you want to get these other hatches open and you don't want to rely on a Maverick to do so, then the Cali is quite a viable pick here. Check is going to go for the Bandit trick, but slight mistime there, and that is going to allow him to actually escape. He got cut down about 50 HP, but narrowly escaping with his life. Insomnia will not be able to do that, however, being the first player to fall in both these defensive rounds from Trine. A near engagement there coming out on the main stairs as Blessed Devo is working his way on up. He's going to walk into Savage Mars here with the UMP. Now he's going to go prone, whip out the Super Shorty, and it will do its job well. Savage Mars making it happen, feeling so confident that he wanted to swing out on this breach where 2 attackers were staring right at him. So that's not going to work out too well for the castle. Maryville at least retaliating some way, returning this man advantage to only 1, but they're still sitting at a 3v4, and they still need to really make a good amount of progress here. They've yet to deal with the Cash extension. They've yet to really make much headway into this bomb site at all.
Yeah, we're going to see Tortoise swinging here dangerously. Check's going to connect with the C4. So I think Check was waiting for that as we see the result of that. This attack is falling apart at the moment, but you do have the Cali gun out here. So the sniper rifle could change an outcome of a match in an instant, if you will. Check's going to be swinging out here from main stairs. Going to have to be careful, though. Does hear the bulletproof cam destroyed. Check's going to get the bullets onto Thermite. Vintage, he's going to go down here. Check doing such a good job here on this attack. And Check's going to connect with the headshot on the Cali. So Savage Mars and Check doing God's work, if you will, on main stairs is the highlight of this match, as they weren't able to even step into gym nor the other bomb site in bedroom. So excellent job by Trine here, as we saw them coming back here, taking momentum from Maryville, as we thought they had it at the start. But excellent job these 2 first rounds for defense by Trine.
Yeah, the situation we hinted at is possibly coming to reality. Trine, with those 3 rounds on attack, put themselves in a really strong position. They only need a couple of more, only 1 more now, before, things are at match point, and Maryville are staring down quite an ugly sort of situation here. And honestly, what we saw from Maryville there, it wasn't too bad. They had a pretty good realization. They were like, wait a minute, there's a player on the main stairs. We have to deal with him in some way. And what we did see from Maryville, at least in part, I really liked. I love when teams are able to adapt on the fly and change up their positioning, change up their strategy when they realize there's a little bit of a problem. It takes quite a disciplined team to actually do that in the time that they have in front of them. Of course, in the 2.5, 3 minutes you have to actually attack this map, any sort of big shift is impressive. The one that I think of is they realized the position of the player on the main stairs, and you had both Devo and Tortoise pressuring that out. First, of course, it was Devo working their way up the stairs from the first floor, obviously finding their grave at the end of a super shorty, and then you also had Tortoise pressuring from the main stairs window. And while those positions, in theory, that was the right thing to do, and I agreed with that from Maryville, what actually happened didn't quite reflect at least the brains behind that sort of operation. A nice E4 from Czech and a couple of good swings just prevented Maryville from actually making that happen. Had they possibly coordinated a little bit more, coordinated those swings just a bit better, then I suspect it would have gone out overall a bit more productive for them. For a little bit individual plays, they were taking 1v1 gunfights at a time. It really isn't too much of a surprise to see Trine take that defensive win with relative ease. We are heading downstairs, though, to the basement bomb site. Interested to see how things mix it up on this bomb site. As we get forward into this round, we're going to see how the top-down clear is unfolding. We saw really no manpower allocated to the very top floor. Only drone work was actually utilized. They really sent it straight on into Strip Club, straight on into that first floor, only using those drones to make sure the top floor was clear. Of course, with one player leaving the lobby, that is going to make things a bit better for Maryville. Obviously, we'll have to get that Trine player back as soon as possible, but for now, Maryville can play with this advantage. All they really have to do is play out these trades. You swing together with your teammates, and that allows you to have quite a bit of success. Of course, you can't swing when you're not on the bomb site yet, and the repeated impact tricking of this hash by both Squirrely and Millennium Pigeon combined with the cheeky Evil Eye placed in the kitchen, that is actually going to make Tortoise, oh my goodness, it's all going wrong here. Tortoise has now used up all but 4 pellets, and Millennium Pigeon has 1 more impact. If this could be utilized in time, this would be massive, and I'm not sure it was. Possibly, but the hatch is unknown if it is open or not at the moment. Regardless, Squirrely's going to pick up that kill and return things to a 4v4.
35 seconds left on the clock. Czech's going to take down Devo. Excellent play by the Evil Eye there to deter the Cairo pellets on the hatch. Of course, he ultimately got it, but right now, I think that's a game changer right there. Callie's going to go down. Voidley's going to be sitting down but not out. Finally finished off. Insomnia has something to say about it, though. 2v3, and that is going to be it. Squirrely, the MVP, I'd have to say, in that defensive round there with the Evil Eye, deterring the breaching there. Excellent job by Trine, and despite being down a man, is able to get around in their pocket.
Impressive work there from Trine, playing that entire round in a 4v5 and just winning it out regardless. The time delay was huge on that one. We highlighted the impact tricking and the Evil Eye taking out those X-Kairos pellets. That was big. Of course, the hatch got opened at the end of the day, but the amount of time that Tortoise had to just focus on one piece of the checklist, one objective, really put Maryville in kind of a twist. They started to get a bit flustered. They're like panicking that the hatch wasn't getting opened in time, and then what we saw from the attack was really a couple of individual plays hoping to be a turning point in the round. Of course, the Ash doing very typical Ash main things. That was Insomnia, just walking into the bomb site, trying to frag out. But Trine, they were put together enough and disciplined and coordinated enough to not allow those individual plays to shine through. A strong defense on the basement bomb site, and that is going to mark the 5th round in a row for Trine. Early on, we had 2 in a row from Maryville. Trine got 1. Maryville traded it back, but since then, since round number 4, the story has been all Trine. They have taken every single attacking and defensive round since then, all of the momentum firmly in their hands, and now it's 6-3 match point. Maryville now have to make quite an impressive comeback.
You know, and I think the pivotal moment, I think we can say, Jay-Z, was the party in the rafters round. I think right there, that was that was the moment where Trine was, finally kept all the momentum in their pocket and has ran away ever since. But you're right, Maryville down but not out, of course. CCTV, oh man, we're gonna see Savage Mars here though. Gonna see if he can make some magic happen with his C4 throw. Nobody's gonna be home though, so it's gonna be sad about that, I'm sure, as that was a pretty big pick last time we were on this site for these teams. So, and all about adjustments here. As we're gonna see Savage Mars, who luckily came back for this Trine defense, to come back and roam and do his best in order to deter this Maryville attack. Drone work is all in place right now, as they're going to be pushing their attack at least to master bedroom, and it doesn't even seem like they're going to be messing with that exterior wall. So a very linear attack, maybe through the server window. Biomark's going to be exchanging some bullets with the Zofia on the bedroom wall, or bedroom doorway, excuse me. So attack is in fruition, but is it enough to get the point they need for this round?
What we're seeing here is a very smart adaptation from Maryville. They know how much defensive utility is being utilized on that platform wall and on that east side, so they've changed things up. They're going straight for the cache side attack. Savage Mars with one clean headshot onto Tortoise, nearly a second. It's now going to be a C4 ripped, and it will connect. That's a double kill for Savage Mars, and a beautiful play to bring Trine into the winning position on Clubhouse. A 5 versus 3, shutting down this west side push. A cache attack can often work out so well because defensive teams don't usually expect a full construction-sided take. The one thing that Trine are currently neglecting, or Maryville, excuse me, they are neglecting, is pressure from that east side. Finally, Boydley and Vintage will rotate around, but this is something that, in the meantime, has allowed Trine to rotate freely on this bomb site, excuse me. No pressure from behind has allowed Squirrely to fully shift over to the CCTV bomb site to really just hole up and anchor from there instead. We can see by Insomnia's position that Maryville are feeling like they are on the back foot here with only 30 seconds to go. They desperately need to get something going.
I think we just want to highlight, I'll talk about it at the end of the round, the electrical placement by the Cade there was excellent, able to turn the wall here. Squirrely's going to take down his own man, though. Savage Mars, who's already hurt. Millennium Pigeon is going to take down Boydley. 2 men left in this Maryville attack. He's going to go down. Vintage is going to go down. Check's going to take down Vintage, and all is left for Insomnia, but he is not going to make it happen. So Trine running away with it here, as unanswered round after round after round. Excellent job by them on this Clubhouse attack. Great adaptation by both teams. It just seemed like Trine came out to play right now, especially with all the strategy and gunplay ability. But hats off to Check, the Kaid at the end, placing the Electroclaw in the red stairs hallway there, deterring the Cali Lance. So that was the issue, bringing Cali with that. But again, excellent job by both teams there, especially Savage Mars with the roaming attack and the C4 placement.
Yeah, what we saw there for the attack was simply the lack of a Maverick getting to them. If you have a Kaid on the board and you don't have a Thatcher, Maverick is a must pick. It is a requirement on every single bomb site because, as was displayed perfectly, those Electroclaws can be placed in invulnerable positions. One can be placed underneath in garage, allowing you to actually get the right side panel, and one on the other side of the doorway between CCTV and Red Hall. So critical misplayed there from Maryville, not bringing out the Maverick, relying heavily on the Thermite and the Habana instead. As a result, they could not get the crossfire on the bomb site, and the one directional push, well, that's all it was. One direction, a fatal funnel when they walked in the bomb site. Trine doing a perfect job to capitalize on that misplay. So a solid first match, honestly, a solid first map. That's going to be a 1-0 lead now for Trine going into map number 2, which, unless I'm mistaken, should be Villa and I believe that is Maryville's pick. So maybe they'll be a bit stronger there. We will be taking a quick break, though, before we get to map number 2. So stick with us, and we will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're here with map 2 in what's been a pretty hotly contested series so far. Maryville University Black taking on Trine University. The first map, if you're just joining us, that was Clubhouse, and it was Trine's pick, and they really outshined Maryville at the end of the day, taking that one 7-3, 6 rounds in a row, completely unanswered. As always, Jay's Wills, joined by Barrett tonight. We're looking forward to map 2. Barrett, tell me your thoughts.
You know, Trine, I think we thought maybe at the start, if you were looking at the initial rounds, that Maryville was going to be the team that kind of took it to them. But after it seemed like just a few rounds on a defense, or I'm sorry, attack, Trine came to play here and did their homework, or at least strategized properly for their defenses. They did not drop a round. So, I mean, excellent job by Trine here, though it was their map pick. We cannot forget that. I mean, that does not discredit what they did in the first map there, getting the round or the map in their pocket for getting the round for the win. I'm sorry, 1-0. Can't even speak, Trine. But as we're going to go to the bands here, Thatcher's going to be off the board, Jackal's going to be off the board, and Valkyrie's going to be off the board. Of course, Jackal, a person who's going to deter Roman, and I think that's going to be an X factor, at least in this case. Mira's going to be finishing up the bands, but roaming is going to be a big thing here on Villa. Of course, you have, you know, some people, the meme is there a basement actually in Villa? Well, some people who like to roam use it. So it's going to be interesting to see how teams adjust to not having that roaming tracker with Jackal in their repertoire tonight. But I think Nomad, as we see Voidly coming out to play it already, is going to be a big factor here. So Ace is going to be on the board, but I think the Nomad's going to be the star if you're going to deter those flanks.
Well, generally the Jackal is more of a ranked style ban. It allows for a lot more individual play, and the Nomad ban is generally the more common ban if you're looking to roam a bit more freely. The Jackal, while it is definitely a strong ban because not only is the C7E a formidable weapon, but of course the Jackal's scanning ability can shut down some single roamers very, very fast. And with that Nomad air jab, of course, generally the favored sort of roam denial operator, using those on usually the staircases as you clear your way through the map. We're not quite going to be seeing that Nomad ban as we would expect, but that is going to allow Voidly to bring out that pick and actually play those air jabs for Villa. So I'm interested to see how that is going to actually impact Trine's defense. Of course, they will, interestingly enough, be starting out over on the trophy and statuary bomb site. Generally, the secondary bomb site, which falls below in the order compared to Aviator and Games on the other side of this top floor, but very similar to that bomb site. This one provides attacking teams with a handful of options. The first one generally being a direct approach. You send it straight on in through the master bedroom side and pressure that wall right away. Of course, your other option, the option that I think Maryville is going to choose to ignore for now, is the full roam clear from the south side. You enter up in the study side, the aviator side push, you work your way through 90, you work your way up to landing, and you pressure from there. It seems that Maryville, they're going to split things around a little bit, maybe apply a little bit of vertical pressure underneath that master wall to remove those mute jammers and get that wall open a bit more expeditiously.
Yeah, and we're going to see, yet again, Savage Mars going to be on the roam, so we're going to see if he can replicate what he did on the first map on Clubhouse, because he did an excellent job. As we see, he's already got a drone in his possession. He's going to have some intel in his pocket, so a great job there. At least we're going to see if he's going to be able to capitalize off of it, as we see him lurking in library right now. Oh, it's going to be a collision course potentially between Voidly and him. Voidly is going to go down. The Nomad's going to fall. Savage Mars doing his job excellently at that, because he is able to get a body to the grave early. Minute 40 left here. It's going to be up to this Maryville attack to deter him. Unless we're going to see a C4 come out. We're not sure yet. He's been able to connect before. Instead, the C4 might be used as an exit route. Not entirely sure if it was destroyed, but Savage Mars is going to be doing all that he can to stay alive here. But he's doing his job just stalling, Jay-Z.
Yeah, this is an impressive job from the Mozzie. Just taking time off the clock that Maryville simply cannot afford. The wall bangs are going to come through, but a swing from Devo. A terrifying mistake from Maryville, only digging their grave deeper. Insomnia's been taken off the board. Voidly and Devo now both gone, leaving Vintage and Tortoise all alone in a brutal 2v5 situation. I cannot believe Savage Mars was able to not only find 2 kills, but take off 2 minutes and 15 seconds from the clock. The attempted push from Maryville at entering from that first floor and pressuring from below, possibly working that vertical. Well, at the end of the day, clearly not the best decision. Of course, hindsight 2020, who could expect Savage Mars to be playing and living in Library and just being a persistent thorn in the side of this attack? It seems that Maryville have learned that lesson the hard way. Check will nearly get another free kill, but missing out on the shots as Tortoise will narrowly escape that fate. But now with 10 seconds left, the wall still hard. It's going to have to be a full send through Astronomy here. Vintage not looking the right way. The Toxic Babe obscuring his vision. Tortoise will line up one, but that is simply not going to be enough. With the clock at all zeros, Trine is solidifying with their first defensive victory.
Wow. All I have to say is wow, because Savage Mars doing an excellent job deterring every bit of attack that came his way. He eventually he didn't die. So, excellent job by him to take time off, take a bodies with him, and run away with his life. So, very weird here. Odd, if to say the least, that we saw Mozzie just hold up the entire attack. They didn't even scrape or even step foot into the bomb site. So, excellent job by this Trine defense, and as we've seen, they are very coordinated, and communication is on lock for this team. So now we're going to see a little adaptation, as we're going to see the Vintage go with the IQ. So any bit of adjustment will help him at any case here. I'm assuming that is going to be so he can get at least a look at where this Cade Claw is going to be. He's going to see the Electric Claw placed inside. It seems like a bookcase there, so, or at least prepped to be. So excellent job here by Check. He's pulled out all the stops right now as it comes to these claws. So very good job by him, and we're going to see how the adjustment helps this Maryville attack.
Yeah, so generally, what I prefer to see an attacking team do here, especially on these 2 top floor Villa bomb sites, is that full methodical roam clear, right? Like I mentioned earlier, you enter from the opposite side of the top floor than the objective, you clear your way through, and 90 is that midpoint where the pressure on the site really starts to begin. What we saw there from Maryville, though, in round number 1 worries me a little bit if they were to pull out this strategy, because they had so much trouble just clearing out one player. Savage Mars, of course, being that very player. He was stuck relatively alone, being pressured from all sides, soft walls all around him, bullets whizzing past his head, but Maryville still struggled to actually get that fatal blow, and at the end of the day, that's all you're really looking for. Chip damage is one thing, but you gotta remove these roamers, and you need to do it within a reasonable amount of time. We are seeing them actually go for this, very clear that I talked about, and no defender is in their way to contest them, at least on that top floor. Interestingly enough, Trine defenders have elected to extend downstairs. Instead, positioning in a position where they could eventually go for some sort of flank, because obviously there's not going to be any air jabs in play, interestingly enough. And so this could be quite dangerous if Savage Mars is allowed to work his magic again.
Yeah, and we're going to see if they're going to be able to make it back. It seems like they're just getting deterred at any point there, or being very careful. Smart drone placement by this Maryville attack, as the IQ left the drone pointing towards, and they're actually Vintage is on that drone as we speak, towards that blue stairs, astronomy stairs, as we see a heap of drones by Voidly, as he doesn't just a party there apparently with the drones. So intel. Millennium Pigeon is going to be probably chased back into sight, as his position is known. So the attack is extended, but kind of stalled here, as the roam clear has not been taken care of. So as we see, stairs and doorways have to be checked and peeked, because the roam has not been deterred. Just another problem right now. We'll see if they're going to be able to overcome that issue, though. We're going to see Ace using his charges, his Selma charges, to open up the vault wall, attempt to get some pressure of some kind here, but no bloodshed yet. 45 seconds left on the clock here. So we're going to see maybe a little action happen. But right now, if you are trying, you are going to have to get, I'm sorry, if you're Maryville, you're going to have to get into gear at some point.
Well, they're going to smoke off their only entry point into the bomb site, but Bless Devo's going to walk right on in. He'll take one. Check responds, so does Voidly, dropping down Squirrely. 2 kills are going to find their way in the hands of Trine. Both Savage Mars and Check doing that justice. Bless Devo will get a response, turning things even into a 2v2. With only 20 seconds to go, however, Maryville need to get this bomb down, and a critical swing from Biomark's going to get one and force Bless Devo to do the impossible. He's now got to stick the plant with no time to hop on off. He still could possibly cut down Savage Mars, but the Mozzie is playing this too smartly. It's now going to be a back and forth, ring around the rosy for the end of this one. It's going to be who can get the swing at the right time. Savage Mars is going to make a quick mistake, walking right on into the 2-time scope of Bless Devo, but backing off before the grave was found. Now, it's going to be a back and forth battle here. The vault player is there, but a flick from Savage Mars. What a shot. That is going to be an incredible clutch to pull things out against all odds. Bless Devo having the advantage in that gunfight, was not able to win it out, and Trine will take the second defensive round. Even though it was dicey, they pulled it out.
Timing. A very unfortunate mishap by Devo there, as he had the angle from looking into vault, but he ended up vaulting over the bookcase that has fallen, ultimately exposing himself to Savage Mars. So Savage Mars getting it done either at the start of the round or at the end of it. He's able to come up with the clutch. Trine getting their second win on defense. Now, as I believe everyone knows, Rainbow Six is defense heavy, but Trine has done a very good job so far deterring the attack at the first part of the match and at the end of it. Though very close margin of error, or very low margin of error was required there, Savage Mars getting it done 2-0 in favor of Trine.
So many things to really talk about there. First, I guess you can talk about the time management from Maryville. Obviously, a couple of things to be improved on that end. Despite having not a single roamer, not a single piece of utility standing in between their master side entrance and the 90 hull and the vault wall, we didn't see those Selma charges actually hit the wall until the 50-second mark. That's not too big of a deal if you really have a coordinated execute, but what we saw there was just not quite up to par with what you need if the pressure on the bomb site is beginning so late into the round. You can also highlight some mistakes from Trine. There were less mistakes, more than missed opportunities. There was no Nomad in play. Let me just reiterate that. No Nomad, no Jackal, very little in the way of flank watch, but we did not see Savage Mars actually capitalize on a flank. Had the Mozzie pushed up those Astro stairs or those red stairs actually to support the team when the execute was going down, I think that would have been a much faster and decisive victory for Trine on that bomb site rather than the dicey clutch that was required. Regardless though, round 2, going in Trine's favor. A couple of things that each team could have done a better job capitalizing on, but doing a pretty solid job nonetheless. Going forth into round number 3, we're seeing the general same plan of attack from Maryville here as they work their way in and get this roam clear underway in what already seems like it's going to be a lot faster.
Yeah, I was about to say they devoted at least a little bit more manpower, or at least more time, in a speedy manner to this roam clearing. Sammy is going to take a little bit of damage from one of the roamers, but right now I think you're going to have to ultimately, if you're going to want to win this bomb site, we've seen time and time again, vertical control is the key to winning this bomb site, as it's stuck off in a very corner part of the map here. So if you're able to get bullets from above, ultimately, unless time is dwindling away, you get the win here. Vertical control already coming into effect as Savage Mars is going to take down Vintage. Of course, he's all linear attack right now, folks, as he is doing his job effectively once again, getting the roam going, as Maryville has to worry about him lurking at every corner. And he's going to get another one. Insomnia is going to hit the grave, and ultimately the Nomad is going to take care of him, but not before he was refragged by... actually, they traded. I'm sorry, they traded. So, again, Savage Mars is doing an excellent job. Biomark is going to take down Bless Devo, and this Maryville attack is falling apart.
Every single cast, JB, there's always a moment, no matter the caliber of the teams, where we have to step back and say one very painful word to mutter, and that is yikes. This one was probably the least successful attack from Maryville so far. Obviously, it's not over yet, and you still have Tortoise in play, but what we just witnessed was individual roamers on essentially islands away from their team who should not have been allowed to perform in the way that they did. Despite that, Check will get one. We saw Biomark getting one there, Savage Mars as well. So much individual, very ranked style roam play that's not being punished by Maryville. I'm liking what we're seeing. The early parts of these attacks are looking pretty clean. They're droning each other in, they're getting headway into the map, but the moment where they get contested, the moment where a defender decides, you know what, it's time to take this fight, Maryville miss a step. The coordination and the comms aren't quite there enough. They're not playing close enough together, quite literally in that sense. They're not playing off of each other, off like 1 second, 2 second on the back foot of the nearest attacker to play the refrag game. The refrag game is so critical when dealing with a roam clear, because in those situations where you do allow the roamers to get a frag or two, you need to be there to address that mistake and cut your losses right away. Sure, you lost one player, obviously that's going to hinder your attack down the line, but if you stop the bleeding right there, if you're able to trade out that player and take down the roamer, then how successful of a roam really was it? You're losing a gun early, you're making the site more vulnerable. That is what Maryville need to do. They haven't been able to do it for 3 rounds now. They will need, if they want to have success on this map, their own map pick I might add, they will need to correct those mistakes going forward, at least into round number 4. Overall, we've seen adjustments from Maryville, and I know they can make these positive changes. We just actually have to see them come through.
5 seconds left before.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned refragging. Savage Mars refragged his own kill, or his own death, actually, rather. So interesting enough, you're right. They're not playing together cohesively, not as a unit whatsoever. Interesting placement by the ADS there by Biomark. So, I mean, we're going to see a full-blown extension here as we are on, master bedroom and statutory, or I'm sorry, trophy room and statutory, because, I mean, very interesting to see how he's going to play into that, because not usually do we see an ADS just placed in the middle of the stairs unless someone is going to be holding it. So there actually is a basement on Villa. We're going to see the Maryville attack come through basement here, as not commonly as we see it played. Usually always in an avenue for this attack, certainly in many games that we have casted. So we're going to see 2 minutes left. I'm sorry, approaching the 2-minute mark. We're going to see no roam has been taken care of yet, but it seems like they're attacking from the complete opposite side of where these defenders are attacked out or extended out on, as we're going to see Biomark not even near a Maryville attacker whatsoever. So be interested to see how that comes into effect. You do have the Nomad, but you're going to have to ultimately kill them if you're going to want to get success if you're Maryville.
Well, what we're seeing here is Savage Mars and Biomark slowly converging on the position of the attackers. Biomark swinging around in Memo. His position is known, however, but seemingly not enough. The IQ is going to be standing right there. Goodbye, Devo. Biomark finds one. Biomark finds 2 now. A double kill for the Jaeger. Check nearly losing his life there to the Cali, but escaping that pretty nasty fate. And once again, the roam play from Trine. Tremendous in the way that it is just shutting down this attacking push. Vintage and Voidly will line up a double kill between the two of them, both cutting down Millennium Pigeon and Check respectively, evening things out into a 3v3. Now with all the attacking pressure concentrated on this top 4, it's going to be up to Biomark to really hold down what remains of this master-sided push. The wall is still hard because the hard breach, it's not going to be able to go down. Those Selma charges unable to be utilized because the IQ was not able to do her job. Caught in the midst of a reload, the Pocket F2 finds the headshot onto Biomark, Voidly doing his job well, Tortoise lining up another, leaving Swirly all alone in a 1v3. The Yokai drone may help this matter, but that's not going to be enough. He is actually downstairs below the bomb site. No opportunity to really play vertical here. Things not looking too good. Oh, he will. He will play some vertical, but it's not going to be enough to actually take down Vintage or stop the plants.
Yeah, a cheeky play there by Squirrely. Of course, the bullet's not going to be penetrating the floor enough to get the kill or deter the plant. 30 seconds left on the diffuser. So Voidly, I think, have to be the MVP right now. As the key drone placement is already out in effect right now. Vintage wielding the AK-12. He's going to know where he's at. Squirrely's going to take down Tortoise, though, making this a little more interesting. The air jab does go out, but Vintage says good night. And there we go. Maryville getting the attack finally on their side here, especially on their map pick. Could be a change of sorts, as we've seen this already in this match. Last map, you know, a winner finally getting, a team finally getting a win on their map pick, 1-3 down, definitely not out whatsoever. So we'll see if Maryville can build on that previous round.
It's amazing how one round can really just shake up the way you think about an entire map. Of course, it's just one round, and Trine have looked rather dominant so far, but it's Villa. It's generally defensive-sided at this level, and if Maryville can just squeak away with one more round out of these next two, they would be poised to go on a rather successful defensive half. If they can put together, as we would expect, 4 defensive rounds on their own map pick as well, then they really could be back in this fight and send this one to overtime right away. Of course, we are far from actually getting there. We're still 2 rounds remaining, in this first half. But things looking now a little bit mixed for Trine. And I think this is a turn of events that we could probably have seen coming. The confidence that Trine was just exuding in the previous few rounds, swinging everything as roamers and it paying off. Well, this is the logical next step. You over-swing, you over-aggress, and Maryville doing a perfect job at realizing that. They capitalized at every turn in that round, rather than falling victim to it over and over and over again. And don't get me wrong, the roam from Biomark did its job, but when the actual pressure came mounting on the bomb site, Trine were feeling so confident after that early lead and after last round's performance that they just started to swing angles. And it did not pay off. Maryville took them down, and they will take the round as a result.
Yeah, and I think the adjustment by Trine here, you mentioned the aggression by these roamers. I think they're going to probably drop one roamer and have someone stay home, or at least closer to the site. We're going to see Biomark still in his red stairs, hole there, as he's got his ADS protected with some barbed wire. So we'll see how this pans out, because you're right. They were able to get the 2 picks, but ultimately when it came to site pressure, they were unable to retake the site, and that was a result for Maryville. So right now, we already see, when we talk about adaptation, they are actually attacking from the south side this time, or at least all spawn south side. So we're going to see how these teams play out here. So we're going to see a pest notified. I don't know what's going on here. They know the pest is there. They were trying to figure out how to get rid of it, I guess. But one Mossy pest down, I guess, is a win if you're Maryville. But we're going to see this attack slowly formulate through the dining room yet again. Voidly's going to go down, though. Unfortunate mishap as he swings in. Check's going to be waiting for him in the doorway looking into the master bedroom. So interesting play here. He's got the pixel set up here for closet and not going to connect, though. But right now you did your job getting the pick off the board. The Cali, who was able to deter the electronics on the wall. So a win and a loss, I guess, for Maryville. But trying getting back to their formidable defense habits, if you will.
Well, the loss of the Cali is really not ideal. Of course, you still have Insomnia and Ash, who are both pressuring from below, looking to remove this Electro Claw and these Mute Jammers that are being utilized here. But, of course, the danger is these roamers. Blessed Devo is finally going to realize that very danger, nearly taking down Savage Mars. The one player they haven't fully dealt with is Biomark. His pre-fire through the wall is going to give away his position, but actually allows Savage Mars to go for the retake. He's going to walk right on in, cut down one. Biomark gets the second, now removing both of the players on the vertical decision there. Wow, what a shift. All of a sudden, Trine are not only back in this fight, but they now have a 2v5, tremendous man advantage once again, and it looks like we're back to the old Trine defensive success, winning it out in just a clean way. One of those defenders that was swinging everything. Has been downed, of course not out though, and he is in a position to be revived if there is someone to support him. Millennium Pigeon's gonna get one. In fact, it's Check who lines them both up. The Mute, utilizing the most disgusting sight ever to be conceived in this game, instead of the 1.5, is going to make it happen, combined with the pressure from Check from the top of landing and the red stairs there. Just too much for Maryville to handle, and Trine will go on to take that 4-1 lead.
Yeah, I think you saw there that though they did still extend those two roamers off of site, they were way more coordinated. They played off of each other. Of course, Biomark basically holding from piano, looking into the stock room, I guess you could call it. I'm sorry, I'm not sure the proper call for it, but just pre-firing that little bullet, drew attention from the attackers and was able to allow Savage Mars to capitalize off it. So though both teams made adjustments, I think Trine did a better job playing off of each other, at least from the roaming part of the game. So makes the anchors on site life a lot easier, without a doubt.
Well, the one thing I always like to mention in these moments, when you see defensive players, big fraggers like Biomark and Savage Mars just lighting up the scoreboard on the roam, you can't forget the importance of our big old favorite support players. This is something that I like to say a lot of times I get on the desk when you see players like Squirrely, Check, and Millennium Pigeon just locking down the bomb site. It is on their shoulders that a player like Biomark and Savage Mars is allowed to go for the crazy roam. They wouldn't be swinging things if they didn't believe that those anchors, their support players, could lock down the site just the same. Without those anchors, roamers cannot do their job. They can't swing, they can't frag out, and they can't really make things look as one-sided as Trine are managing to do so far. So shout out to all of our support players out there. Just remember that you do matter. Even if you're at the bottom of the leaderboard, your contribution to a team, it's invaluable.
As a fellow support player, I think that the sports cliche is they're doing things that don't show up in the stat sheet, or at least is what they say, as we're going to see Vintage bleeding out and flying across the terracotta rooftop there. We're going to see if he's going to be able to get picked up. But yeah, shout out to all the support players. You are actually the support of the team, though you do not get the kills and the fancy assists and all that. But we're going to see the attack. At least body's not going to be falling out. Until I say that, Bio is going to fall down, as Blessed Devo is going to get a quick pick here on one of the roamers. So doing a good job getting one of the roamers off the board. As we're going to see Savage Mars going to just miss there, as he has someone in Insomnia waiting inside of the statutory room. So wisely peels off there, but does get gunned down by Blessed Devo. So Devo taking care of the roam attack. So now you have to execute if you're Maryville. Capitalize on this. Of course, you're very lucky to have your ace alive, but Blessed Devo just doesn't even care. He doesn't need the wall open. He doesn't need anything. He's just going to shoot you. He's going to take down Check. So doing an excellent job. Sophia doing excellent work here as they are making their attack. Squirrely, who is a support player, time to show that you can get kills too, as he's wielding the M590 right now. Oh, there's so much to do here. If he shoots, he can't. Of course, we see the outline. They don't. Blessed Devo is going to go down. Tortoise is going to go down. I'm sorry, he's going to take down Millennium Pigeon. So a lot of action happening right now. Of course, it's all up to Squirrely now, as he has to defend the bomb. The bomb diffuser is going down. Blessed Devo's finally going to end the grave, or hit the grave, as Squirrely takes care of him. Of course, this is very winnable, as we can see. He's kind of held up in a position there on bar, but right now, Squirrely's just going to have to do his best here, and he's going to get the Nomad down. So Tortoise is going to be out. Of course, now they're going to know where he's at, of course, but right now, I think if you're Maryville, you just want to play it slow. Don't want to throw away a round like this, especially since you've had such good control of the map throughout the entire time. 18 seconds left on the clock, 15 seconds now left on the diffuser. You're going to have to go here, and I think the crossfire is set up. So Squirrely's going to have to pick his evil here, and he will not be able to succeed. So excellent job by Maryville, as they were able to get a win here on this attack. I think map control was the big thing for him, as well as the roam elimination by Blessed Devo.
That's the thing when it happens for those really extended roams, and the individual roam play is just as it can be so successful. The high-risk play it can also be high reward. This time, it was really the risk that came to fruition. There really wasn't much that Trine could do once those players got picked off, and got picked off immediately by Bless Devo. He was able to take them both down almost instantaneously, crippling the manpower of the defense and making the attack unfold a lot smoother on the bomb site itself. Of course, you did still have Squirrely, who refused to die in those few moments, finding 3 kills and nearly pulling it out. But I think you said it perfectly, Barrett. It was the lesser of two evils on that swing. He chose for the study player and obviously chose the grave. There wasn't much time left to actually make something happen. But that is going to mean we are done with our first half. We're on to the second. A 4-2 split for the defense for Trine is all but expected. Maryville, by getting 2 rounds, they've done their job. They've done the minimum. They've accomplished those 2 rounds, but that minimum is also often all you need. Now, on their own map pick, you would expect them to come out on defense strongly. Maybe they can do that. All they need is 2 rounds to bring this one back, and with Aviator in games, Trophy, and Statuary, both of these bomb sites on the board, 2 very strong bomb sites to defend, Trine, they definitely still have their work cut out for them here on this attack. Of course, 2 rounds is quite nice to have at the distance between you and Maryville, so at least it gives you a little bit of cushion, but you don't want to waver that pressure very long. The sooner that you can get these attacks underway successfully, the better off you'll be.
Yeah, and I think if you are Maryville, why not us, is what you have to be saying. You know, Trine got to do the inverse, basically, and come back and win on their own map pick. Why not you? As we see, I don't think... Well, I do not believe Maryville has extended any bit of at least big roam, which is kind of the opposite. Squirrely running on top of the barricade here, and attempt to maybe shoot Voidly, kind of a cheeky angle, or I'm sorry, Insomnia. But you know, not a lot of roam presence, at least for as far as I can see. Interesting play. I mean, of course, you expect, at least if you're attacking, to have at least one roamer committed outside to stalling, but that is not the case right now. So we're going to see drones basically become the roamer, I guess, if you want. But right now, if you are trying, you want to get going here, you mentioned it, Jay-Z, it's 4-2 on the scoreboard, but allowing the other team to get the 2 on attack is very huge, especially on their own map pick.
Question is, what's going to happen early on? 90 seconds have already found their way off the clock. No operators, and as I say that, there goes Biomark. Bless Devo on the swing will mark the first kill for Maryville on the defensive half. That is going to be the Buck who's saying goodbye so far in this round, and strangely enough, the Buck was on the same floor as the rest of the attackers. There was no vertical play coming out from the Skeleton Key like you'd expect, but there's vertical play by Voidly playing prone. He's gonna sneak on around and find one. Check, though, is there to respond and cut him down. Wallbang nearly catching out Bless Devo, but the Kaid escaping with his life. And now, he's going to rip a C4, prepping it for the eventual execute. Nobody is there, so a complete waste of that utility, a vital piece of utility to deny the plant at that. That's going to allow possibly mounting pressure here, but check with the diffuser in hand is in the middle of the gun vault. Vintage capitalizes. Goodbye, check. It's now a 2v4 for Trine.
30 seconds left on the clock here. Maryville doing an excellent job to turn the attack from Trine here. Bless Devo eventually is going to get wallbanged here. Couldn't avoid fate so much longer. Squirrely, though, going to get a pick on Vintage, making this a 2v2. So now momentum is ultimately shifted. As soon as I say that, now they have complete control of B site. Smoke is going to be going out from the ace. AK-12. Oh, he's going to see... Got to be watching the vault here, and he is. Squirrely going to take down Insomnia. The Malusi is going to fall. Of course... They know he's in his... It doesn't matter. It does not matter that he's in the Banshee. Squirrely doing the Lord's work with the AK-12, taking care of Tortoise. And just when you thought Maryville had it in the bag, Trine is going to ultimately take the round. I mean, excellent job by Trine, but kind of a choke by Maryville.
Well, that right there was impressive from Trine. Holy moly. That was solid stuff in the end. Just putting a round together seemingly out of nowhere. That was really good stuff from the Squirrely as well. The smokes covering both those rotations and the lines of sight from games over to Aviator. that was enough to nearly guarantee that the retake was going to come from the gun vault. Squirrely wisely knew that. His crosshair pre-positioned, the defender sent to his grave. The same thing goes for the rotation into study. Without a viable way to push on through the rotation holes into the bomb site, it was a rotation
Attackers
around
need to
through
locate
study. There
and
was a
defuse as
drone
many
in
bombs as
Classical
they can.
Hall, which identified that position, and Squirrely acted accordingly. So great job there from Trine in a 2v4 against all odds. Will pull it back. To respond now, Maryville are even in more precarious position than they were before. One round has already been found for Trine, and a round that really should not have been won at all. Trine are definitely going to be learning from their mistakes, and if Maryville aren't careful, Trine could really mount another successful attack, rather winning it sooner on out than risking a 2v4 situation. Of course, they do have to improve because a 2v4 isn't a situation you're going to win more than once, but who knows? Maryville have to come up with a response of their own as well. Interestingly, they're going to head back to the very same bomb site and repeat what looks like the very same setup. No Malusi in play. We do have the Legion instead. But interesting to go back to Aviator in games when trophy and statuary is on the table.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Maryville, I think you had to know that you didn't really mess up there. Of course, you did lose a couple gunfights in rapid succession where you lost the man count. But I think if you are Maryville, you have to imagine that you made the proper adjustments to basically lose to a couple of gunfights. Strategy-wise, you were pretty solid. Though no roam has really been present here, we do see that there is a change in utility, as we're going to see the Jaeger brought as opposed to the Malusi and the Legion as well, in an attempt to give auditorial cues, or at least give a little bit of a presence to where you know where these attackers are coming from. But right now, we're going to see the attack mounted from the north side, Trophy and Master Bedroom Classic attempt here, but we're not going to see anyone roaming outside here. Drone work getting done very well here, as we're going to see on both sides. We're going to see the Echo placing his yokai strategically this time in order to prevent this attack. But right now, it just seems like the attack is not really coming to fruition right now. But anything is possible, especially as we see Biomark take down Voidly, who just seemed to be caught in the crossfire between a concussion and his teammate body blocking him in the doorway.
Yeah, an unfortunate turn of events there for Maryville. That's going to put them on the back foot very early on here. And remember, just a few rounds ago, I talked about when Maryville was on this attack. It was around the 50-second mark that they actually made their headway into 90 Hall. And a big difference here from Trine is with no resistance on the Master side, they've wasted no time to pressure up onto the bomb site. Here comes the swing onto Games. Biomark leading that charge. The head of the Jaeger not going to be spotted, but Tortoise and the body shots will land. That's going to be a double kill for the Zofia. Vintage not quite able to catch out the Zofia, missing a couple of critical shots that could have certainly turn the course of the round. That C4 definitely will assist that, taking down Check, removing the Twitch, and a very formidable weapon, the F2. But now with the smokes going through, and now with the C4s no longer on the table, Blessed Devo has to go on the swing. He's going to be caught out of position as Swirly and Savage Mars will make sure of that. Savage Mars lining up a double kill to close out the round. Trine taking this one with ease. 2 rounds in a row now, with eyes on match point. Maryville, they're really on the edge of defeat here.
I think we have to give credit to the smokes again. I mean, able to cut down visibility from the defenders there. Have the drone work in place to have the defender's position known, and also establishing the plan of the diffuser as well. So excellent job here by Trine. On their opponent's map pick has seemed to look very tactically sound so far throughout the map. Match point, they well deserve it right now. If you are Maryville, you have to pull all the stops. So right now, as they attempt to defend here, Trophy and Statutory, which I thought they should have went the last time, especially both outcomes resulting in what they did not want in their favor.
As many bombs as they can.
Yeah, seeing this one come on out is refreshing to see Maryville not, beat a dead horse per se and go back to the same bomb site for the 3rd time in a row, but part of me wishes they did this just 1 round sooner. I'm not going to say I told you so. Going back to the same bomb site was a problem, but Might have told you so. I mean, like,
Yeah.
listen, obviously, it should have been winnable. The Aviator Win Games site. We saw how winnable it was by the fact that
10
Maryville
seconds.
took a 4-2 man advantage lead on their first attempt. But
5
Maryville
seconds
brought
left.
out the same setup, and Trine has proven that they are an adaptable team. Why
Attackers'
not
objective
just
is to
test
locate a
out one
bomb
of
and
your
defuse
other
it.
bomb sites? It's your map pick. You're probably comfortable on trophy and statuary as well. If we had seen that sooner, just maybe, we would have seen this unfold differently. Of course, this round number 9, will be the indicator of that. If Maryville can win this round, then they're definitely going to be, slapping themselves on the back of the hand for that one and say, hey, why didn't we do this one round ago? Then it wouldn't be match point. It wouldn't be so scary every time we take a single gunfight. Because now, with this series on the line, with this week 2 matchup on the line, Maryville, they're on the precipice
Bomb
of
located by
disaster
attackers.
here. They've got to be nervous. I mean, 4 rounds in a row is now required for them to bring this one back. And so they're going to have to do so, starting off with this secondary bomb site, one that they have chosen to avoid so far.
And we're going to see a little bit of a roam play finally from this Maryville. Devo is going to be, unblessed Devo is going to be on the roam. First time we've seen that from him all
Attackers have
night,
dropped the bomb diffuser.
or at least to an extent where he's at least a couple rooms away off of the site. So we'll see how that comes into play. Biomark says, no more roaming. He's going to let Devo rest in peace. So the roam failing here,
Attackers
4v5
recovered the
here, a minute 45 left on the clock. It is going to have to come up to some excellent gunplay here as Voidly is going to narrowly miss that Ash. Savage Mars walking into sight, or at least the doorway looking into sight. So we're going to see, hopefully, we see a defender drop there, so maybe the roam can come out, or the flank can come out late. But right now, Maryville, you're okay right now, but you have to worry about the speed and efficiency that's going to be coming out of here of Trine right now.
Yeah, Trine have made pretty quick work of this one. Obviously, quick work of Bless Devo, but so far, they've got pressure mounting from just about everywhere. The one danger of that, though, is if it is literally everywhere, then that means your attackers are playing a bit individually. Check. Doing that is going to feel, I guess he's going to feel the punishment for that kind of mistake. The isolated position in the master bedroom. No refrag was able to be found, and the twitch will be no more. That's going to even solidify that this master wall remains electrified, at least for the time being. Squirrely, without being able to open up this wall, is just going to go in for the swing. Savage Mars picked up one in the meantime, but Squirrely is now, it's his time to shine. The AK-12 doing God's work one time. Savage Mars on the swing. Millennium Pigeon to finish it out. And Trine close things out here for the series in round number 9, attacking and defending Villa with a very strong prowess indeed.
Boydley was going to be the saving grace for Maryville, and unfortunately getting gunned down by Savage Mars, that kind of felt like, in my heart, the match was going to be over. Excellent job by Trine, adjusting, especially initially to adversity on their map pick, but nevertheless, it seemed like this was a Trine match from the start. I'm sorry, not from the start, but once they started winning on Clubhouse, it was very tough to see. They brought the momentum into Villa, and without a doubt, did an excellent job tonight. So hats off to them. Hats off to both squads, of course, because this is the first early part of the CR6 season. So try and get to move on as we see. Good luck. So I don't know if the Twitch community can see that. Good luck next week to each team. So great job by Trine, but head up if you are the Maryville squad, because I think you just have a little more things to adjust on, and you'll be a pretty decent team.
Yeah, I think both of these teams, they definitely had their moments where they looked pretty coordinated and looked pretty strong, but you've really got to give it up to Trine. I mean, since those early rounds on Clubhouse that went back and forth, I mean, in the last 13, 16 rounds,
Yep.
Maryville was only able to find 2. So that is pretty impressive for Trine. They really just, once they got that momentum going, they really never looked back. I mean, that was crazy return on Clubhouse to just bring it back and then start slamming. Same thing goes for Villa. Had an advantage, never looked back. Storming ahead on the attacking side and really shocking Maryville there, who obviously picked Villa because they know how to play that map. They know how to defend it in particular. And Trine, despite that, making relatively quick work Pretty solid job from them. I do like what we saw from both of these teams. Obviously, both of them have
Yeah.
a couple of things to go back to the drawing board for, but overall, I think the coordination on a to a it was there for both of these teams. They had moments where they looked just really, really good. They pushed on in together. They had some legitimate executes go down. But in the very same token, like that's where the problems came as well. So that'll simply come with time. That'll simply come with just drilling it down, getting in your scrims, getting in your match days, and just drilling down that very coordination. Obviously, with a potentially new roster, it comes with time. You really got to work with your team, and that's something that I think both of these teams can improve upon going forward.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Time is the main factor, at least for teams to come together, to unify, to have the cohesion, to have that what is it, unwritten body language where like, okay, I trust this guy in this situation. I don't have to worry about this, so I can focus my attention to this portion of the map. I mean, stuff like that is huge. Especially that's what sets apart some of the maybe the average mid grade teams to those who are higher up. I mean, that is basically the secret sauce here. Of course, you can have gunplay and mechanics, but ultimately, if you have chemistry, a well put together team, coordinated, executed attacks, ultimately get you the wins at the end of the day.
Yeah, and something you highlighted, what separates those, mid-level teams from the upper teams. I talked about it a good bit through the matchup, but I think it's worth highlighting one more time is your ability to adapt on the fly and change up your strategy based on what you see you're presented with. And what surprised me actually is both of these teams showed that they have a good bit of that ability to adapt, to pivot. It's really great to see even young teams pulling that out because for example, you walk into a bomb site and there's a setup you just have no idea what you're dealing with. The best teams don't have to wait for, when you come around to round number 4, when you're going to see that bomb site and that setup again. The best teams will utilize their drones, utilize that intel. As long as the information is flowing, they'll have a better idea of what setup they're actually dealing with, and they can address it accordingly. Of course, from our perspective, it's so easy to see what setup a defense is
Right.
bringing, what kind of tactics they're bringing. But you've got to remember that most of the time when you're approaching these bomb sites, you're walking in with like a drone, you're just looking out from the floor's perspective. You're not seeing much in the way of the actual setup. It takes so many pieces of information, pieces of that puzzle to come together to one IGL, one centralized role who can say, you know what, here's the setup. Here's how we're going to deal with it. Let's use this next minute in the round to fully shift our attacking or defensive pressure. That is what you love to see, and that is what both of these teams at least showed just a little bit of tonight. Teams like Akron, teams like Georgia, the teams at the absolute top of the collegiate scene, they can do this all the time. If you watch one of their games, I am confident you'll see what I'm talking about. Even when they come against some really unorthodox setups, they just make it happen.
Yeah, and you mentioned just to bring it to like to sports, even like film. Like I have to imagine all these elite teams or teams who are put at the top at least are doing some sort of film review or at least film review on themselves or even the opponents they're going to play. Of course, we see a VOD that's been presented us tonight. I have to imagine the opponents of Maryville or Trine, the upcoming ones, are going to take a look at this and say, "Hey, this is what they do. This is what we're going to do to attack." I mean, the adaptation, we've been saying it all night, is the biggest thing, at least for some of these teams. How fast you can change on the fly is huge to your success, or at least a credit to it. So you're right. Many pieces of the puzzle have to come together in order for you to win these matches. But of course, you come onto these two maps, Villa and Clubhouse, tonight at least, where very would you say strategy forward or
Sure.
a lot of stuff like that to where you don't have to rely on gun game or at least gun mechanics. So tonight, I mean, I think it was just strategy, strategy, strategy from the Trine side, and they did a pretty decent job.
Well, the good thing is we don't have to wait any longer to get to our interview. We've got Savaged Mars here on the side of Trine,
Nice.
really here to show us, tell us how this really went. First of all, welcome to the booth. It's nice to see your face. I don't know if you can see ours, but it's great to have you here. Just tell me your initial thoughts coming out of that pretty strong victory.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a fun game. Felt like it was a little close at times, but overall, I feel like we had it mostly handled. I appreciate my teammates being there to support me on the run, but There you saw a glimpse of one of my teammates right there. But yeah, overall, I felt like we had a pretty good, solid game. Feeling pretty confident. They put up a great fight. Overall, I just had a lot of fun. That's biggest part of this. It was fun.
That's what it's all about. JP, I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be having fun, especially on the roam. I think you were the MVP, at least on the roam side tonight. I mean, it seemed like countless round after round after round. You were the guy getting picked. Especially, I'll highlight the first round on Villa, where you're stuck up in a vault, and you basically are. You took 2 minutes off the clock. I don't know if you realize you took 2 minutes off the clock, and you took 2 bodies to the grave with you. Do you what accredits you to like that roam play? What highlights yourself at least above the team where they feel comfortable enough to where they put you in that role?
Yeah, so it's mostly we started this last year, as freshmen. We came in and like, we're going to get a comp team together. We're going to figure out everyone's roles, and we all just moved from Xbox, and so on Xbox I mostly played that hard roam game, and then in our tryouts I kind of proved that I was able to play that hard roam game, and after over a year and a half of playing together and playing ranked and other competitions, Face It, CR6, they're just comfortable with letting me run down the clock, and they're always there to support me. I mean, in that particular round, my roommate over here, Millennium Pigeon Game, he came down and he shot the Ash that was shooting me in the back through the wall, and he was there to support me before I died. Or so I didn't die, and I was able to kill onto the Zofia. And so it's more they're comfortable of letting me roam, but also if I ever call for help, they're right there to have my back. So it's just it's a lot of respect, a lot of just knowing that we're there for each other, and that's I attribute my roam game to that. Just knowing that if I need someone to get my back, they're right there.
Nice. GG.
Sure. I mean, I guess the last thing before I pass the mic to you, what was your success on Villa? Like, where did that really come from? I mean, obviously you came off a lot of momentum from Clubhouse, but you're going into what I think was Maryville's map pick. You wanted Clubhouse, they wanted Villa, and you really came in there quite strong. Is Villa a map that you guys are historically comfortable on, or is it something you've recently been coming into?
Not going to give away all of our map secrets. Our best maps, whatever. But when we first played in CR6, season 3, I believe, was our first season, and Villa was one of the early maps that we picked, and we were pretty confident on. It's another one of those maps from Xbox we're all comfortable on. We took some pushes and drone pushes from Xbox, and they worked pretty well on PC. And so it's just a map that we're familiar with. I wouldn't say it's our best map. I wouldn't say it's our worst map, but it's something that we could definitely be comfortable playing on, and I think it's more so we're a team that's able to adapt. If we notice that they're pushing something or doing something a certain way, we're able to adapt, and I think that just goes for any map, but especially for maps where you just know the layout. So
sure. Well, again, congratulations on that victory. You're now 2-0, which is pretty strong to start off this season 6 here. I guess it's now your turn. I'll pass the mic to you, allow you to shout out your teammates, your supporters, your organization, anyone who you'd like. The mic is yours.
Alrighty, well, got to give a big shout out to my roommate who's off camera, but Millennium Pigeon, he was always there for me on the roam, and then the teammate. What's this? He changes his in-game name. Sorry, I can't remember it all the time. Biomark. That's what it goes by. Biomark was there for me. We had we kind of had the duo roam. We were pinching from 2 angles. So definitely shout him out. My other two teammates, third grade and all, they're my support players. We love them. I definitely want to shout out Trine University. I do appreciate them allowing us to have this esports program and be able to compete and things like that.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to have you in the booth. Thanks for sticking with us, and hopefully we'll see you down the line, maybe in a future interview.
That sounds beautiful.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Peace out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been quite a night. It's been a nice open league matchup, the perfect matchup, I think, to debut this beautiful stream package that, again, Tango Mango Down has concocted for us here. But that is going to do it for tonight. This I believe it's a Thursday. This Thursday evening matchup has now come to an end. We wish you all have a fantastic rest of your week and a nice weekend. I have been Jay's Wills. Obviously, Barrett joining me on the cast. A pleasure, sir, as always. And a huge shout out, of course, to Tango Mango Down, our observer, our producer, and a man who we all love dearly in our hearts. So we hope you all have a fantastic rest of your weekend, everyone. So long.